What is going on, everybody? My name is Peyton Burton. I am the co-host and co-owner of Everything College Basketball podcast and Facebook group. In today's video, I am going to be previewing the Conference USA Conference Tournament. The tournament starts March 12th and it ends on March 16th. This tournament will be played in Huntsville, Alabama, in the Propston Arena. I hope I said that name correctly. If I didn't, sue me. Please and thank you, don't do that. I was just kidding. But this league, I know, me being a Louisville fan, we used to be in this league, and it used to be very competitive. You used to have Louisville, you had Memphis, you had other good teams in this league. And even just recently, the last 5 years, this league's been very entertaining to watch. We've had multiple good teams within this league that had success in this conference, but also nationally as well, did pretty well in the tournament. Even last year, Florida Atlantic, who ended up winning the league, they went on to go to the Final Four. North Texas, who won the NIT championship. UAB, who I think was NIT championship runner-up, if I remember correctly. Yes, they did. It was North Texas versus UAB in the final of the NIT tournament. So they had the top two teams face off in the NIT championship, and then you had Florida Atlantic making the Final Four. So you had three teams who had very high success last year. And Charlotte is another team who had pretty high success last year in NIT play. All those four teams I just mentioned are out. They're gone. They've left the Conference USA and went to other conferences, and that really derailed this conference's chances of being like really freaking good this year, because the top two teams in this league dominated. Sam Houston State finished with a 13-3 conference record. Louisiana Tech was 12-4. Other than that, the next closest team was Western Kentucky, who finished with an 8-8 conference record. 5 games out of first place, 4 games out of second place. And then you had Liberty, UTEP, Middle Tennessee, and New Mexico State tied with 7-9. You still have pretty decent teams in this league. The top 5 teams in this Conference USA, had a winning record, above 500 record. And obviously the top 2 teams in Conference USA ended up winning over 20 games this year. In Sam Houston State, 120, and LA Tech 122. Those are only really game notes I have, or notes I have for this conference. Sam Houston State and Louisiana Tech, obviously the top 2 seeds in this bracket. Sam Houston actually just beat Louisiana Tech in one of the last regular season games to really clinch this title for them. So congratulations to Chris Mudge and their team, because coming into the season, I previewed the Conference USA for the ECB magazine this year, and I had them preseason ranked 6 in this conference, and they ended up winning this league. So congratulations to Chris Mudge. He's done a great job for them. They have a really good squad, have a very good chance of winning this tournament. Speaking of the tournament, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of previewing this conference tournament. Huntsville, Alabama, Props Arena, March 12th is the first games. Is the first round matchup. There's only one of them. With this being a small conference, there's only one first round game. And let's go ahead and pull up the bracket right now. Let's go ahead and start previewing these teams. First round matchup, we got 8 seed Jacksonville State taking on 9 seed Florida International University. Jacksonville State's going to win this game. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Jacksonville State does a really good job of getting to the free throw line. Even though they get to the free throw line, the funny thing is that they don't convert them well. They're only shooting 70% from their charity strike. FIU defensively is not great, even though they got a Turo Dean who leads the league in steals per game with like over 3 per game. Definitely should be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. One of the best on-ball defenders. That's really the only defender that they got this season for them. Jacksonville State has a better offense slightly and a little bit better defense than FIU does, and that's the difference maker. Jacksonville State wins this game. Moves on to play Sam Houston in the quarterfinals. So let's go ahead and start there. We got 2 quarterfinals matchups for you. 4 quarterfinal matchups for you, excuse me. The way they lay this bracket out, you can see it on the YouTube video. It's like very weird. I don't know why they do this. Like, it's very confusing. But anyways, Sam Houston, the 1 seed, taking on 8 seed Jacksonville State. Again, not going to waste too much time on this. Jacksonville State does have a really good player in Kai Tandy, who's averaging over 18 points per game, shooting over 39% from three. But you look at Sam Houston, they got Lamar Wilkerson, over 14 points per game. They got Devon Barnes, over 13 points per game. Those are the only two double-digit scores, but man, can they shoot the ball. Wilkinson shoots 35% from three, and Barnes shoots over 39% from three. They got two guys who can light it up from three, who can light the Nets on fire, and that's really going to be the difference maker. They got a top three offense, a top three defense. Oh, excuse me. They're shooting 38% from three as a team in conference play, which ranks first. They're the best free throw shooting team. They're one of the fastest teams in this league. They're fourth in tempo. This game's not going to be particularly close. Even though I really do like Kai Tandy, I wish he was on a better team with more help because I think he could really shine in a conference tournament format like this. But he might go for 20 plus, but everybody else ain't going to do anything for him. Sam Houston handles them pretty well, and they win this game by double digits. They move on to the semifinals. Next quarterfinal matchups is probably the toughest one to predict. 4-seed Liberty taking on 5-seed UTEP. UTEP has the best defense in this league, but they have one of the worst offenses in the league. There's 9 teams in this conference. They ranked 8th in offensive efficiency. They don't shoot the three ball well. They're shooting 33% from three. Defensively, they're defending the three better than anybody. They're only giving up 32%. The two things I think Liberty can do a really good job at excelling in this game and why I think they're going to win is if you look at how well they've played this season, obviously they got two really good players in Zach Cleveland and Kyle Rode. Kyle Rode shooting over 39% from deep. The two biggest main reasons why I think Liberty holds on and why I think they'll move on to play Sam Houston in the semifinals is because if you look, even though UTEP has a really good overall defense, the two things that they don't defend well is they don't defend inside the paint, inside the arc, and they do not do a good job of keeping teams from going to the free throw line. They're dead last in defensive free throw rate, meaning teams get to the free throw line more on them than they do any other team in this conference. Now, although Liberty doesn't do a good job at taking advantage of that, and they don't shoot the ball particularly well from free throw, shooting 66% from the free throw line, which is not good at all. I still think they'll be able to get to the line and they'll be able to convert at least 70% from free throws, which I think is good enough to win them this game. But that's not the number one reason why I think they'll win. The number one reason why I think they'll win is because, like I mentioned, UTEP doesn't do a good job of defending inside the arc. They do a really good job of keeping teams from hitting shots on them. But Liberty shoots 35% from three. It's about average. They got Kyle Rode who can stretch it out, which I don't think they'll have an answer for him. But they're number one in 2-point percentage. They are going to play inside out. They're going to focus on getting the ball inside their paint. They're going to post them up. They're going to do everything they can to attack the rim, and they're going to have Kyle Rhodes stretching out and hitting shots on them, and they're going to have Zach Cleveland doing what he does. I think Liberty wins this game. I think it should be very intriguing to see what's the game plan for UTEP coming into this one, how they're going to deal with the presence of a Kyle Rhodes and his sharpshooting ability. But Caden Matheny, I can't even say his name properly, 13 points per game, and he's shooting over 40% from three as well. Like, they've got two dudes who are shooting almost 40% from three. And they've got Zach Cleveland down low who's just going to bully them inside. Like, they're going to play this inside-out type of style, and I think it's going to really work to their favor. And they're going to get to the free throw line. And I do believe they'll be able to convert more than half of the free throws, which will be good enough to win in this game. Liberty moves on to the semifinals, and they'll play Sam Houston. Final two quarterfinal matchups for you. We got 2-seed LA Tech taking on 7-seed Middle Tennessee State. Not going to spend too much time on this. I was very high on LA Tech coming into this season. They got the top two best players in this league in Isaiah Crawford and Daniel Bacho. Not going to spend too much time on this. LA Tech has the best offense, and they got the second best defense. And Middle Tennessee has one of the worst defenses and one of the worst offenses. So all you needed to know, two best players on the court. Those are the LA Tech. They move on to the semifinals. Final quarterfinal matchup is 3 seed Western Kentucky taking on 6 seed New Mexico State. New Mexico State is the worst offensive team in the league and one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Western Kentucky is a top 4 offense and a top 4 defense. They play a very high tempo. They're the fastest team in the league, number 1 in tempo for Conference USA. They shoot 37% from three-point line, which is second. They shoot 54% from inside the arc, which is second. First in effective field goal percentage. They've got 3 guys who can flat out make plays for them. They've got Brandon Newman, who came from Purdue, who's averaging 10 points per game, 5 rebounds per game. They've got Rodney Howard, who's averaging 10 points per game, 4.5, almost 5 rebounds per game. Then you have their best player, Don McHenry, who's definitely a first-team candidate, potentially all-conference team for the league, who's averaging over 15 a game and shooting over 38% from 3. New Mexico State's going to have a trouble guarding those guys, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Western Kentucky moves on to the semifinals, and they'll play LA Tech. Moving on to the semifinal matchups, the first matchup we're going to talk about is 1 seed Sam Houston taking on 4 seed Liberty. This matchup is very, very intriguing because although Liberty probably has the 2 best players on the court in Kyle Rowe and Zach Cleveland, Lamar Wilkinson is really freaking talented and he is capable of having a big performance in this game. And Devon Barnes is obviously lights out from 3 as well. And this is the number 1 3-point shooting team. This is the number 1 free throw shooting team. But here's the thing. Although Sam Houston State's offense is ranked better than Liberty's, although Sam Houston State's defense is ranked better than Liberty's, there's some stuff that Liberty can do on both sides of the ball that I think that's going to give Sam Houston problems in this game, and it's the reason why I'm going to pick Liberty to upset Sam Houston State in the semifinals. And here's a couple reasons why. I just mentioned Sam Houston State is first in 3-point percentage. They're second in offensive rebounding percentage. The reason that I bring that up is because even if they miss shots, they're very capable of getting the offensive rebound. And I will always tell everybody, Jay Billis always preaches this. The best time to shoot a 3 is right after the offensive rebounding or right after the offensive rebound. That's something that goes hand in hand for Sam Houston State and something they can really capitalize on. If they get an offensive rebound, they're the best 3-point shooting team in this league, shooting at 38%, a very high clip. That's the best time to shoot a 3. And if you're Liberty, you're going to have to do your absolute best to not only guard the 3-point line, but to not let Sam Houston get second chance opportunities. But here's the caveat to that. Liberty is ranked first in defense, offensive rebound percentage. Meaning, if you're not a stats nerd like I am, what that means is they do the best job at anybody in this conference of locking up defensive boards and not allowing teams to get second chance opportunities. That is going to be the biggest key for Liberty in this game. They're going to have to defend the 3-point line, which teams only shooting 33% from the field from 3-point line, which is not bad. But the biggest key for them is they're going to have to box out and keep Sam Houston State from off the offensive glass and keep them from getting second chance opportunities. Because if you do that, then you alleviate any chance of them hitting a 3-pointer right after offensive rebounding or right after offensive rebound. And I think that's your key to victory. And plus, Kyle Rowe is probably going to have a double-double in this game, and he's going to shoot lights out. And I don't think Sam Houston State was going to be ready and prepared to deal with what he has to bring to the table. And also keep in mind, last year's tournament final in this league, a couple years ago, I don't remember when it was. It was when Darius McGee was there. I don't actually remember when it was, and it was actually last year, I knew I had it right. I forgot Liberty came from the ASUN Conference. Coming from last year, the ASUN Conference Final, they played Kennesaw State in a very close game. They lost that game 67-66. Although they had Darius McGee on that squad, majority of the squad came back. Kyle Rowe came back. You had Zach Cleveland coming back. Colin Porter. Colin Porter came back. You had majority of the guys that play big minutes now came back. They remember that moment, and they're not going to let that happen again. There's a sort of confidence level and a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to overcome that, and they're going to beat Sam Houston in the semifinals to move on to the championship game to face the winner of LA Tech and Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky has 3 guys who can score, a couple of them that can really stretch it out and hit shots. But the thing that I want to bring up is something that Western Kentucky does not have. They don't have the best offense. They don't have a better offense than Louisiana Tech does. They don't have a better defense than Louisiana Tech does. They shoot the ball a little bit better from 3, but not by much, 37% compared to Louisiana Tech's 36.9%. So very freaking close, only by a 0.1% on that margin. But LA Tech has the 2 best players on the floor. They got Isaiah Crawford, who I loved coming into this year, has had an incredible season, has been phenomenal, 16.5 points per game, shooting over 40% from 3. Then you have Daniel Bacho over almost 15 points per game, almost a double-double with 10 rebounds per game, pretty much a double-double, 9.8. And he's averaging 2.4 blocks per game as well. He's one of the best shot blockers in the country. 58% from the field. Then you have I can't even say his name. Talik Chavez, 40% from 3. You have 3 guys on this roster, and Devin Lee, who's a former 4-star recruit, committed to LSU, decommitted, and then went to Louisville for a year, who's also shooting over 40% from 3. Very talented individual. 3 guys shooting over 40% from 3, plus Daniel Bacho, who's averaging a double-double. And they got a better offense, and they got a better defense. Sorry, Western Kentucky fans. You're taking an L on this one, and I honestly don't think it's close. I think you get routed. I think you get your ass whooped in this one. LA Tech moves on to face Liberty and the Conference USA Championship game. And unfortunately for Liberty, like it happened last year, maybe I'm wrong. I am sticking with my Jerome pick. I had Louisiana Tech winning the regular season. They lost about 1 game. I was very high on them coming to the year. They exceeded my expectations. Although they didn't win the Conference USA regular season, they're going to win the Conference USA conference tournament. They shoot the ball too well from 3. They do all the intangibles right. They got the 2 best players on the floor. They've got 3 dudes who can shoot over 40% from 3, who can just light up Liberty's defense. And I think they're going to beat them in a semi-close game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a conference final. Liberty, Richie McKay, shout out to him. He was on the show at one point this year. He's a very cool dude. Got to see his team last year when they was playing the ASUN conference, when they went at Bellarmine and beat them. Very cool dude. I am rooting for you. But here's the thing. I have been a big opponent or a big believer in this LA Tech squad, and I think they're going to get it done. I think they're going to beat Liberty. I think they're going to score over 80 points doing so. They got the best offense, and they got the second best defense in this tournament, in this league. I think LA Tech gets it done. Yeah, LA Tech gets the job done. They punch their ticket into the big dance. They represent Conference USA. Like I sort of predicted in the preseason magazine, they're going to get it done. Isaiah Crawford and Daniel Bacho is too much for Liberty to overcome. Conference USA will be represented by the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. That is my predictions for the Conference USA tournaments held in Huntsville, Alabama, March 12th to March 16th in the Props Arena. Again, I don't think I'm saying that name right, but who gives a damn? Let me know what your predictions are down below. I'm curious to see what people have to offer about this conference, because I'm sure a lot of them probably have St. Houston winning this league. But I just think they're going to get beat in the semifinals. I think Liberty's very capable of doing things well. And the fact that St. Houston does not guard at all, really, inside the paint, they don't do a good job of doing that. And they give up, or the worst team, or like they give up too many fouls. A lot of teams that get to the free throw line, that's easy points for Liberty to gain. And you got a couple players in Kyle Rowe who can just flat out just give them issues offensively from the three-point line. And also he's very good at posting up as well. I think they're going to eat. I think they're going to get beat in the semifinals. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what your predictions are down below. Send me a message. Send me a DM if you don't feel like commenting under the YouTube video. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out all my other conference previews. Check out the conference awards that's dropping almost every single day. Check out all of our top 10 favorite March Madness moments. Myself, Josh, and Trevor did that the last week. Heading into Selection Sunday, we are 6 days away. I cannot wait, man. It's net cutting season time, and I can't wait to watch this conference tournament, and I really hope Louisiana Tech can go far, and I really hope Liberty goes far. Those are the matchups I want to see in a conference championship for the right to get a bid into the big dance in the NCAA tournament. March Madness is just around the corner. It's about a week and a half away, and it's the best time of the year for college basketball fanatics like me and like yourself, especially if you're watching this video. So appreciate everyone. My name is Peyton Burton, and I'll catch y'all down the road. Peace, y'all.